order the October 16th, 2025 Park Board meeting. Do we have any announcements from anybody?
No.
No? Any public comments? No? All right, let's move on to the approval of meeting minutes from August 21st, 2025 and September 18th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I would make a motion, we approve those minutes.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
There weren't any meeting minutes from September, was there?
That's why we memorialize
Okay,
it. We
okay.
basically say it was we didn't have a meeting that day.
Okay.
When somebody looks 25 years from now, they'll know we didn't have a meeting that day.
I was just like.
I'm glad
wasn't
somebody asked
here.
me that. When I was typing it up, I'm like, somebody's going to ask me that.
You
was
knew
me.
it was going to be
You know it was gonna
Tammy.
be
I did. I was like,
I
I'd be
question
surprised if
everything.
somebody didn't ask that. So.
All right, so the meeting minutes from both are approved, even though we were not here for one. Approval of October claims, human resources. Oh, nope, sorry. Approval of October claims. Do we have a motion? I think we've all signed everything.
I make a
It
motion
hasn't
to
been done
approve.
this way yet.
Oh,
I haven't signed, but.
That's okay. I make a motion, we approve claims.
Second.
second. The October claims are approved. If you guys get through those and anybody has any questions, we can swing around before we get to old business. Let's talk about approval of the human resources report.
So I'm sure I told you this last month. We had an employee that resigned and left us. I think his last day was the Friday of Labor Day week, I believe is when it was. We advertised the position, did an interview, and we are recommending that you ratify the hiring of, his name is TJ Van Cleve. He's a Franklin resident here in Franklin. Has carpentry experience and project management experience, and if you will so approve, he'll start on Monday. So,
Oh, great. So do I have a motion to ratify the hiring of TJ Van Cleve?
I will make a motion.
Okay, I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we ratify the hiring of TJ Van Cleve.
thank you.
Let's move on to old business and talk about Payne Park Playground.
Yeah, when's my?
I know
playground
Tammy's
opening?
going to ask you. I knew she was going to ask me. So, boy, we're having a hard time getting this thing put up. If you know, Tammy, I'm sure has noticed, it's been delivered for over 30 days now. It's been there
The
well
trees
over a
were
month.
removed 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So I did have Rock call the vendor today. We did find out that it is scheduled to be installed starting Monday, October 28th. So
Okay,
still, it's a week from Monday. But it's all there. I mean, it's all just waiting to.
waiting for me to try it all out.
The thing is, it will happen pretty quick. Well, I mean, it's not that huge of a playground. It'll be done by that Friday, I'm sure, so.
We want a selfie on the playground
I will
equipment.
be happy to post it.
Yeah, we do want one, you're right. Did you see the spinner thing that you
Yes,
like?
I did.
You
Yes, I
see it
did.
sitting out, yeah.
Yes,
I'm at
that's
the-
why it's tormenting me.
Yeah. That is the one thing you can actually see that's still sitting out, so. Yep, it's there. We're just waiting for the company to show up and do it, so.
Tammy's ready to play.
Yes.
Can I talk about one other one, since we're talking about playgrounds? It's not on here, but, so Kingsbridge Park, I know at least 2 people down that way were on the board when we signed this agreement with Kingsbridge Park about a year and a half ago. That we waived the park impact fees, if you recall, and in agreement, and when we did that, they agreed to put the park in. If you haven't been up that way, I did post some pictures the other day of it. It is under construction now. Speak of playgrounds, why I wanted to talk about it. That playground is probably done now because it was under construction last week when I was there, so they should probably be done with it by now. I'll go up and confirm that tomorrow and post some pictures, but it's a really nice playground. It has the dog park is already up and the grass has been seeded. The trail system up there is already in, so the parking lot's done. I did have some contact with the contractors there, and we'll actually take over that park this spring. So they'll maintain it between now and when the grass starts growing. But once the grass starts growing in the spring, then we'll take it over and go from there. So, but it is there. It is roughly just shy of 20 acres, so it's not a small park by any means.
Wow.
If you get a chance, It's real easy to get to. When you turn into Kingsbridge off of 31, just go straight back. It's on that road when you go in, and you'll see the parking lot and the playground and the dog park there already. So, but if you do get a chance, go up and take a look at it. But it's almost done. So,
You know, it'd be cool if we put maybe on social media pictures of all our parks
Yeah.
and just so people can swipe and look and see
With the
where.
map, too.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things, it's funny you say that. I just talked to Victoria last week about she's creating a what we call a playground tour. That has a QR code that will show you where all the playgrounds are in Franklin
Cool,
Parks, and
yeah.
then you can go to all of them if you wanted to. So we're working on that now. So
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love it.
yeah,
All right, so let's talk about new business. It looks like we have a resolution in front of us. It's a resolution recommending adoption of Common Council Ordinance 2509, which amends Ordinance 2016-06, and it regulates traffic, vehicles, golf carts, streets, sidewalks, trails, paved, recreational or multi-use paths, and public places.
so this has a bunch of information that I need you to look at as we're talking about this. So also pull the map out that looks like this. I have a copy of this if you want to see it too. Here's the map. Here are the documents we're going to talk about. Here you go. So, where do I begin? This ordinance that we're referencing here dates back to 2016. And what it does is it basically regulates, from our perspective, what can be on trails, for example, bikes, no motorized vehicles, all those different kind of things. So Lynn and Matt McElroy and I and Matt's the city engineer have worked on this for the last couple of months because we're trying to correct a issue that has come up with the construction on 31.
Yep.
Is what this has got to do with. When that design basically does not allow people that live in Windstar and Franklin Lakes and Bluffs at Youngs Creek to cross 31 anymore in a golf cart because it eliminates any traffic that's going to go straight through on both places that they could do that at Nineveh Road and at Franklin Lakes Boulevard. You cannot go straight anymore. You have to turn right out of those, which puts you on 31, which does not allow golf cart traffic. 31 doesn't. So we knew this was going to be an issue, so we proactively went out and tried to figure out what's a solution for this. The only solution that we could come up with is that right by the playground, and this is where you're going to look at the map, you'll see the playground right there kind of at the top left, that we're going to designate this section of the Greenway Trail and only this section of Greenway Trail that you can drive a golf cart on. And matter of fact, this will look differently than any other place in the trail system. It will have the yellow line down the middle, so it designates 2 lanes. So obviously, you know, when you're coming either way, it'll have a very specific signage that has to do with, golf carts and that kind of thing. The concern that I had that we addressed early on was, if I'm coming from Blue Heron Park, it's going to spit me out at the cemetery. And my concern is that if you turn if you turn left coming out of the cemetery, that's a dual-use road. So the road, it also serves as a road in the cemetery, but also serves as the Greenway Trail that runs that section of the cemetery. It's not that big, but it does get you behind the maintenance building, right? And then it becomes dedicated trail again. What we didn't want to do is we did not want to spit golf carts out to the left, because it's going to be very tempting for a golf cart then to keep going behind the cemetery and then get into Youngs Creek Park or get on the trail, and so that's what we don't want. So the solution we came up with is that you can only do a right turn at that little makeshift intersection at the cemetery. We're even going to put little painted placards on the newly renovated road in the cemetery, so it's easily to see you can only go that way. That's the only solution we could come up with to allow a golf cart to come from that section of town into town. Now, do I think that's going to work beautifully? I'm realistic. Of course it doesn't, right? Half the people don't read signs. But it's really the only solution we can come up with. Now, I will tell you, if you'll dig into this ordinance a little bit, you'll find out on page 22 of it, which is almost at the very end of it, that we have updated, this whole ordinance has been updated to read what I just told you, basically. One of the things that it does do is updates the fines, violation fines, for having motorized vehicles on the Greenway Trail other than this section we've designated. It used to be like $25 and $35 and $50. Now it's $150, $300 and $500. It's the only way we could think of to get people not to do that. And you see that those have, if you get a second one within 24 months, those kind of things. The enforcement's going to be done by the police department. That's, there again, that's the only enforcement we have in the park system to do that. The other concern I had was to make sure that there was enough room under the bridge for a golf cart to meet somebody else or a bike, and Matt did confirm that there is wide enough to do that. So all those concerns that I had initially when I met with Matt and Lynn, all were taken care of and addressed, I guess. That's the gist of this. Basically what, and the reason that's to you today is because you technically control what happens on the trail. So this is obviously an issue on the trail. Before it goes to the Board of Works and City Council, it needed to come through you first. I am recommending that you forward that on to the City Council with a favorable recommendation, which would be signing this resolution. And then it will come up at I think at the first Council and Board of Works meeting in November. Because their next meeting is actually Monday, but I don't think it's on the agenda, so.
And just so everybody understands, the language in red is the new language.
Correct, yes.
The rest of it is
Thank you.
the prior resolution, or prior, yeah,
Yeah. Is
prior
there-
ordinance, sorry.
If there is someone who continually breaks the rules involving golf carts or anything like that, other than the fees and fines, does the city have the means of pulling their license for that?
Yes, you have to get a permit for a golf cart in
Yeah,
town.
so that
so
can be
yeah,
pulled?
yes.
Okay.
We gonna, Rocky, you could put like golf cart boots. You could get a boot for the
There you go. Yeah.
vendors.
I like
and
that.
You could go out there and put those.
Or whatever, you don't get to drive all the way around on that side of it.
Okay, so do I have a motion to adopt this resolution? 2025-02.
I make a motion, we adopt the resolution as it is.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. Last comment I'll make about it is, I will tell you that Lynn and Matt and I have worked on it for 2 or 3 months, and we've literally exhausted every other option that there was. The only other viable option that we could think of was for you to get on the trail still at the same spot and drive the whole length of Blue Heron Park, go through the wetlands area and spit you out in Arbor Springs, that then would make you go over to Jefferson Street. And we don't want to dump golf carts on Jefferson Street either, right? So that was the only other viable option that there was. And it would put you on longer distances of the trail, to be honest with you.
I don't want that.
Yeah, so it was not the most ideal, but this one we come up with
Maybe
was.
those housing additions that are being cut off because of the change to 31 could use some of their HOA funds to build their own little bridge. And that'd
Would
be
be-
cute.
Start on the original, I signed on the wrong side.
Oh, okay, we can just start a
Okay,
new
let's
one.
just do another one.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Acceptance of Franklin Active Adult Center donation.
Okay, this is the first time that we've announced this publicly, so I don't think I've even told you four yet. The Active Adult Center, we got a call, actually Rocky got a call about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, and to let us know that an active adult center member had passed away. And his name is Paul Jocelyn. Paul is 100, it was 102, I believe. Is that right, Rob?
Just 100.
100, only 100, sorry.
Just 100.
That's amazing.
Had really, really wanted to see the new active adult center open, right? So Paul had went inside the new facility several times, so we had given him tours of it. Because, by the way, he's a World War II veteran. Had went in it several times because he was really concerned that he wasn't going to be there. He died on
July 1st.
July 1st. It opened on July
3rd.
3rd.
Did he get a tour?
He did.
He'd been several times.
Okay, good.
Rocky got a call. When he told me about the call, my first reaction was, I don't believe you. Paul donated $1 million to the Active Adult Center. Yes, it is true. I didn't believe it. She wanted to write Rocky the check the same day, and I was like, ugh. We did not do that. What I did do was contact, these next three items are going to be the same. I did immediately contacted Johnson County Community Foundation because we did not want to put $1 million into some random account. We did work with the Johnson County Community Foundation. That's the next thing on your thing, is to ratify the agreement with the Community Foundation. We did create an endowment fund over there. So obviously that's where the money will be held. As a matter of fact, they already have it. Rock and I witnessed her writing the $1 million check to the Community Foundation.
Awesome.
Let me tell you what we're going to do with the money. So I got to tell you the details. So $150,000 of it has been designated to buy new buses for the Active Adult Center. So we're going to buy 2 new ones for the Active Adult Center. They already have 1, so that'll give them 3. It will spit off about $32,000 a year in interest that will basically be in perpetuity forever. So we'll never touch the principal of the money. That principal will then stay over there, and the Community Foundation will give us the proceeds once a year. $32,000 of it up front is coming to us next year because it has to stay in there a year. So instead of missing a year, we designated $32,000 of it to come to the Active Adult Center in 26. That leaves about $818,000 roughly that will go into an endowment fund, and then we'll spit off that $32,000 a year that will be used for programs at the Active Adult Center or staff. But the cool thing about it is the endowment very specifically says it's only for Active Adult Center programs or staff or thing. Really cool. No, that'll never happen to us again, probably, but did want to let you know that we met with
That's neat.
his executor, and
So we name something after him?
we are. That's the third piece of it, is that the only thing that she asked us 2 things. One is that she had talked to the Active Adult Center people, and she knew about the buses. So it was to designate a portion of it to buy the new buses. And the second piece of it was if we would name the game room, because he loved playing cards and those kind of things, if we would name the game room after him.
Oh,
I already have that. Hopefully you'll approve it, because I already have that in motion to do that. I thought that was a pretty easy ask.
well,
Wow.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And very appreciated.
And $32,000 a year in programming to them is almost essentially free programming forever
Yeah.
at the Active Adult Center. That's how huge this gift is. So
Wow,
pretty
that-
cool.
That's just incredible.
That is.
So let's combine all of these together, and do you need a motion to accept?
Yeah, I think we do, since it's such a large donation.
So let's have the motion, accept the donation, ratify this endowment agreement, and approve the renaming of the game room in the Active Adult Center. Does that sound good?
I'll make a motion to approve all 3.
Do we have a second?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
The
Can
only-
you, for the next meeting, do you mind getting a copy of the endowment agreement? I'm just kind of.
I have it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's right here.
You have it.
I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it right there.
right here. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
I do have a question about donations just to the Parks Department. Do we have like a QR code or anything?
No, but we're going to make one now.
Okay.
I love that.
It's a good idea. I
It
was just contemplating, like, I've seen on graduation announcements,
Yeah.
when folks have just attached a QR code for a donation to, their favorite place. So
Yeah.
let's come up with that.
A lot of parks departments have foundations. We don't. But basically, we have a great community foundation, and why duplicate what they're doing? So that's it. Just to be very specific about so there is a fee to have an endowment fund.
Sure.
It's very minimal because we have several funds over. It's not just this one. We have an urban forest fund. We have a trails fund. We have a parks fund. All kinds of different funds that we have over there. There's a Brock. There's a fund. Norman P. Blankenship fireworks fund that gives us money every year for fireworks, and there's all kinds of different funds that we have over there. So there is a management fee that's attached to it. I don't remember what, it's very minimal. It's like 1%
I
or
was going to
something.
say, it's usually
Yeah.
like a small percentage of.
It's like $300 or something to us and all of our other funds I remember seeing, so. But there again, they do the management of it, which is great. If you'll read the agreement, there's some other things in there that gives you flexibility. If there's ever an emergency at the Active Adult Center, let's say, 20 years from now, something, I don't know, catastrophically breaks over there and we want to tap into that money to fix them, you can do that. It would be something that you would have to vote on, and then you'd take that to the Community Foundation Board and they would vote on it too. But so there's
great.
flexibility in it. But it does it gives us the opportunity for let them manage it, and all we do is we get a check once a year, so.
That is so.
Oh, that's great. Well, when the sign goes up, let's do some,
No, that's what I was trying to mention. So that may happen in some next week sometime. I will make sure you know well in advance, so we'll do I know we love ribbon cuttings. We'll do a ribbon cutting for that, so we can make that
that's so
official
sweet.
announcement out there. And we'll
oh,
get,
that's great.
that's a big deal that we got that kind of donation, so.
Yes, it is.
That is fantastic.
All right, well, that's exciting. So let's talk about the 2026 to 2030 Park Impact Plan update.
This is just an update to let you know that we're working on this, that, believe it or not, Michelle probably was here last time we did it, for sure. Every 5 years, we have to do, Michelle, how long have you been on the board?
Not 5 years. I was on that committee.
Okay, I know one of you at least. So every 5 years, we have to update the park impact fee plan that we collect park impact fees from developers that build apartments or homes or those kind of things. It's now up for renewal again. It will have to go to the city council at the first meeting in January. So between now and then, you'll be seeing some stuff from me, especially at the next meeting and then the following meeting as well. At the November meeting, we'll have a list of, it also requires you, I should tell you, it has to look 10 years out. So we're going to be talking about 2035 at the next meeting, about what capital projects we foresee 10 years from now, because that will determine what the amount of the park impact fee is. It's actually based on a formula. It's not some random number that we pick. It's based on a formula, what we foresee the needs of the park system are for the next 10 years. We'll have a list of those potential projects at the next meeting. At the December meeting, you'll have a draft of the actual park impact fee plan, and then you'll approve it at that meeting, and then we'll forward it to the city council for the first one in January. It will require that I know Michelle has sit on a comprehensive plan group here not too long ago. It will require us to maybe have a couple of you at our meeting to talk about that kind of stuff specifically. So I just want to put it on your radar screen that in the next couple of months, we'll be going through that process. And then by January, we'll approve it. And then there's a cooling off period for 6 months that basically says we know what the fee's going to be, and then they'll start charging it in June or July, probably July 1st of 26. Our current fee will stay in place, obviously, until that one goes into effect. So it's not like we're losing out on park impact fees or anything. And I did look before I came. The current balance of the park impact fees is just about $360,000. So we roughly get about $150,000 a year off of it. It depends on how many houses are being built and apartments and those kind of things. So
There's a lot of apartments going up
there is, yeah.
around Franklin.
And they all have their own fee. So a house has its fee, an apartment per unit has a fee, all those things. So. But I just want to put it on your radar screen that it's coming. So.
Okay. And now we have the Franklin Family Aquatic Center report for this summer.
It looks like this. It's got the yellow kind of headings on it. If you're like me, just want to go to flip it over and look at the total. The total was about just shy of 431,000, 438.73. You see how it compares to the previous couple years? It was down from 23 and 24, but not that much.
Considering we had a completely cold and wet May.
Yeah, and there again, you guys know, but if you just go back, and you easily find out the difference is in May. We had a record June, be honest with you, by a lot, really, in the terms of, in our world. It went from 179 to almost 194. So if it wasn't for that 1 month, we'd had a record year. But the one thing I have learned in 31 years of doing this is the one thing I can't control is the weather. So
That's right.
it is what it is. So. But I did thought some interesting things on here because I'm a numbers person. If you look at the pool pass sales from an overall comparison, we did 81,656 was by far the most we've ever done before. The closest one to it was 70,000. So we did almost $12,000 more in pool pass sales, even though May was terrible, which is a good thing. So.
Yeah, that's great. Very good.
And believe it or not, we're already working on 26. So.
That doesn't surprise us.
Not surprising.
Let's talk about the 2026 fees and charges proposal for Parks and Rec Green Lawn Cemetery.
It's our favorite time of year, Michelle. No, just kidding. Where's Michelle Graham? I can't see her. All right, so obviously we do this every year. I normally give it to you in November, but we're going to do it a little bit earlier this year because I'm going to make some pretty significant changes compared to what we have in the previous years. And I want to start by talking about the cemetery first. So if you'll look at those 3 pages you have, the cemetery one's the one we're going to look at, unless I have a copy of it, if you want to look at it. So with the last time we increased the fees at Green Lawn Cemetery were 2021, excuse me, 5 years ago. The cemetery already had in place what we're getting ready to institute in parks, and they had a resident, non-resident fee at the cemetery. They've always had it. So if you're a resident of Franklin, you actually pay a discounted rate in theory than you would if you're a non-resident. Prior to what I'm getting ready to tell you, it was $800 and $950. So $800 for a resident, $950 for a non-resident for a lot out at the cemetery. I'm proposing that the resident go up $50 because we haven't done it, and so it'd be $10 a year. And then the non-resident's going to go from $950 to $1050. So and you'll see that as a theme. I'm talking about from the next 3 pages that any increase that you're going to see is going to be obviously significantly more for the non-resident. I want to explain why, if people don't understand why. So the resident of Franklin, through their property taxes, pays into the park system. So if you live outside of the city, you don't pay that portion of your property taxes into the park system or the city in general, police, fire, whatever it is. So a non-resident, what we're asking with this proposal is them to pay the difference into what a resident is already paying into, right? So that's one of the benefits of living in the city. It's one of the reasons why people choose to live in or out of a city. It doesn't matter if it's Franklin or anywhere, right? It's based on the amenities or if I'm willing to pay the taxes for that. So there's a lot of people that live just outside of the city limits on purpose, right? Because they don't want to pay the property tax, okay? But I'm here to tell you that in the world we live in today, you can't have it both ways anymore, right? Because there's legislation coming down that it's already came down that is going to significantly impact what cities' revenue looks like. So What worked before is that, we could basically say, hey, non-residents, you're more than welcome to come in and do things what we do and pay about what the same fee we do. Simply is not going to be able to happen anymore because we have to get the revenue from somewhere. And the one thing we don't want to do is burden the resident more than we would a non-resident because the resident, remember, is already paying into it. So all we're asking is a non-resident to pay the equal or close to equal amount that a resident already pays, okay? So the cemetery would be the first one that you'll see that at. There's a difference in all these fees, whether you're a resident or non-resident, okay? That's the cemetery one. The one thing I did not propose a change in is, because we just did it, was the columbarium rates. We had already set those about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, so.
Brand new.
They're brand new, and they're not, we haven't sold it out, so that's pretty good where it's at. Next page would be for the Culture, Arts, and Recreation Center title page at the top. So these are resident versus non-resident rates for whether it be a rental that we do or a membership is at the bottom. The resident rate, I did not increase. I did increase the non-resident rate, okay? So there again, the philosophy behind that is that, all right, resident, you're already paying your taxes. You already support the park system. You're going to get a better rate than a non-resident would. I did have some very, we try to do things methodically, believe it or not. We're just not pulling things out of the air. I do have rental rate, rental numbers for you to tell you what resident versus non-resident is. Shelter houses, for example, large shelters like the one at the Province Park in Blue Heron, we had 32 residents and 32 non-residents rented
Really?
in the past, and that's only between now and October 1st. So believe it or not, it's about even on both of those. Medium-sized shelter would be the ones that are stepped down from that. We had 34 residents and 23 non-residents. And then the small ones, we had 34 residents and 43 non-residents. So the non-resident outpaced the resident. Booker T, which is usually one of the most rented ones we have, is 51 residents and 28 non-residents. Here's the one I thought was really interesting, because you don't realize these numbers until you go look at them, was pool rentals. If you do just the zero debt pool, it was 5 residents and 5 non-residents equal. The main pool was 11 residents and 27 non-residents.
Wow.
And then if you rented both the pools, it was 9 residents and 24 non-residents. What that tells me is that over half of our rentals were non-residents, okay? So they should be paying more than the resident does. Birthday parties I thought was another one, because we do have a little birthday parties you can do. The small package we have was 6 residents and 5 non-residents. The medium was 1 resident and 8 non-residents. And then the most popular one we had was 6 residents and 31 non-residents.
Wow.
Wow.
So it just shows you that this will actually do 2 things. This fee will do. One is it's going to encourage, it will give the resident more of a shot to rent something, right? Because the fee is going to be higher. And then it will also make it equitable as well. I did think the memberships were interesting. So in the last 2 months, I only took 60 days worth of information. In the last 2 months, we've sold 46% of the memberships have been residents and 54% have been non-residents.
Really?
So these are very interesting numbers that when you pull them out, you're like, okay. The rec center memberships were 83% resident and 17% non-resident, and the pool was 96% resident and 4% non-resident.
Does Edinburgh still have a pool?
They do, yeah.
That's really surprising then, all of these. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very.
But our rates are so much better than everybody else's that I'll give you a great example. One of the reasons why the numbers are so skewed on the pool rentals is because our rate is so much cheaper than our competitors are. So if I'm a Greenwood resident, for example, it's a no-brainer. I'm coming down here to rent than I am there. It's about 5 times our cost up there than it is here. All these non-residents are coming here. Well, I don't have a problem with that by any means.
Yeah.
But they
long
need
as
to
we can
pay
still
their,
fit 'em.
but they need to pay their equitable portion.
Yeah.
Yes.
and it does, and not let the resident supplement that. So that's why you'll see these numbers. You see the resident versus non-resident.
Okay.
Next page is the pool ones. The only thing that, the admission prices didn't change, so the bottom's all the same. All the other ones did. And also proposing that we sell pool passes differently than we had before, because I got this from a different parks department, and it works beautifully. And I'm trying to figure out why we haven't done it yet. Instead of trying to figure out, how many people are in a family, and, you can add more if you need more to, that was confusing on our online system to do that. We're just going to set it based on, if you're a family of 2, here's your price. If you're a family of 6, here's your price. If you're a family of 8, here's your price. And I'm going to do it up front instead of letting you trying to figure out, I need to add this, add this, add this. No, I'll figure it out up front for you.
That's great.
So there's the resident versus non-resident rates for those. There's the pool rental rates. So obviously if, it costs you more. And by the way, these numbers are per hour. That's not, I lied. It's not per hour. I did do it.
Hours?
Yes, I did it 2 hours or 3 hours. That's why you see those numbers.
Oh, gotcha.
So if I'm going to do 3 hours at the pool and rent both the pools, I have a big party I want to do, if I'm a company or something I want to do. If I'm a Franklin company or city residence, it's going to be $825. If I'm a non-resident, $975.
I think these all make sense, especially if you've, equated them to other communities, and ours are reasonable. So do we have a motion to accept the cemetery rental membership prices and pool prices?
I make a motion, we accept the pricing.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we have our fees set. Moving on to department reports. Let's talk about the department reports.
I don't know why I put the AMP concert that was last week on there, but hey, if you were there, it was great. Michelle, Graham, were you there?
I was there during sound check. And
Okay,
then
sound- no,
passed back through. It was amazing.
Yeah, he actually did really good, so.
Good.
Halloween Town is the next big one, so it's a week from Saturday. We usually have several thousand people at that event, so if you get a
Yeah.
chance to come down and take a look at that, you can. And we're going to be gone the 11th through the 13th of November to beautiful Muncie, Indiana.
Wow.
Any Ball State people in here? You a Ball Stater? Nope.
IU.
I was like, IU, me too. That's where the Indiana Park and Rec Association Conference is this year. I can't tell you some exciting news because I'm not allowed to tell it yet, but at the next meeting, I'll tell you some exciting news that has to do with number 3, but I'll tell you later.
All right, wow. Okay, can't wait.
Oh, look at him tease.
Let's talk about, we have like a cliffhanger now.
I know.
You got to be at the next meeting to hear it.
Tune in to the next meeting.
Must come.
Let's talk about financial reports.
So the Athens Rec report is the one that I always, there again, I'll try to. The one that's fully done is 2024, and the one that's not fully done is 25, because we're obviously just halfway into October. But it gives you a comparison to where we are. We're right on track. We're except for May, be fair, about where we were last year. So that's always a good thing. So we've already the Athens Rec Fund is already over $1 million as of we sit here today. So. And usually December is a really, really good month because we're selling, this is where we do, I don't know if you remember seeing this, but we do the Black Friday sale for pool passes, and we'll do that again this year, but we'll do it at the current rate, not the new rate. That's one of the incentives, right? Is if you buy it early, then you get it at the good rate. So as far as the other appropriation reports, I was just having a discussion with Brooke before we got here that we literally have no money. So it just is what it is. But that's how parks work. That's why I should really briefly talk to you about that. Parks is really spend heavy the first 6-8 months of the year. And then once we get to the last 4, we don't do as much because we obviously have done our bulk of what we're doing already. We have money. I'm not lying. I'm just kidding. But it's very significantly less than we normally would at this time of year. So We'll have enough to make it through the year, no problem, but this is the time of year where we definitely slow down spending, slow down on staff, the whole 9 yards, so,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Do we have any park board comments? All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.